I'm Philip Bell. I'm with J.T. McWilliams Elementary School, and this is my colleague, Ms. Bruno. She's the counselor there. So I'm a science teacher over at J.T., and I came to talk to you about hydroponics. I was originally going to be on a hydroponics panel, and then that got removed, and they were nice enough to let me talk on a separate little session here. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys, and I'm always excited to talk to anyone that's willing to come into my classroom and look at what's going on with hydroponics. I see Taylor back there, and he's actually in one of my slides, just his hand though. So, but I gotta say, coming into this room, it's very interesting to me, and I just couldn't help but think how nice it would be to have our classrooms that look like this. I like these tables and the decorations and everything. It's a really, really nice atmosphere. So really impressed walking in here and seeing everything that's going on in this building. So we're gonna start with the germination process. And going into this whole hydroponics curriculum, it was one of those things where I can honestly say that I had never even planted a flower before in my life. And that's the truth, I never had. And I started teaching, let me see, I'm going on my 5th year next year, and I was teaching 5th grade, and this is my first year teaching science. And it's just the whole concept of the way I've taught, and Ms. Bruno can vouch for some of the process of my development with the school, is I used to go into my classes thinking that I had to have all the answers, that I had to know everything, the whole background, and be able to answer every question. And you're going to see when I do my question and answer session here in about 10 minutes, I'm probably not going to know the answers to your questions, but I'm going to do my best. And so the difference between my first year teaching and going into my 5th year is almost a 180 from the perspective that I don't put so much pressure on myself in terms of having to know everything. And so I actually think of things a little bit differently. I feel I'm just going to try it and see how it works and then go from there. And that's worked pretty well for me. So this germination process over here, what Taylor was telling me is we just put 3 seeds in the capsules, and we put them in there for about 3 weeks. And I have my little labels here. Let's see, we've got some basil, some lettuce, pak choi. I think we're doing a couple of other things right now, and we pull out the ones that are the weakest, and we leave the strongest in there. And so that's what's going on with this one. Let's see here, the towers. The students pretty much run these things. So I have the day-to-day operations. I have some 5th graders come in. They take turns. They fill up these tanks over here, and I'm used to having a little pointer. I don't know if this one has a pointer or not, but let's see if, no. All right, so these tanks right here, we just fill those up, and we've had very minimal problems with it. Taylor and I, we replaced the nozzles last week during spring break. We had a dripper system that was working okay, but the nozzles were getting kind of clogged up. And so we replaced those with a continuous flow system. And the only problem I've really seen with that is because the plants are getting extra flow, I'm seeing a little bit more of where they start dripping into the leaves and then kind of leaving a little puddle. And so I replaced a couple on the ends back to the dripper system since we aren't using those, and that seems to be working pretty well. And you can see this, these little plants right here, they just got transplanted, so they're a little bit small. So let's see if we can show you a side view right over there. And then these little handles right here, we just release the water, and then they come out. The water flows down underneath to this little reservoir right there. And this is some of the results as far as them growing a little bit bigger. And then you can kind of see if this is right before harvesting, and they're doing pretty well. And I promised you we get a little bit of Taylor in there, so that's his hand right there. He came in and helped us do a little harvesting on that garden, and you can see the kids are eating it right there, and they're really enjoying it. So the students always ask me, because they come in to my science lab once every 7 days, and they're always asking me, Mr. Vela, can we try out what you have going on? Right now we just planted some kale, and I had some of my special ed students get involved in it over the last couple of months. So they did the whole the plants that are in the germination kit right now are from the special ed students, and so they're really excited to see what's going on with it, and they want to get a taste of some of the stuff that they grew personally, so they're asking me about it now too. And then this is a few of my photos of the students. Every time they come into the science lab, they carry their science notebooks, and that's a requirement. So the way I do it is, first 5 minutes of science lab, they have a table of contents. They fill out the table of contents, and they fill out a focus question. And that is for any session we're doing, including hydroponics. And they keep notes as far as what they're doing. And I'll usually guide them. I think it looks like third grade over there, taking their notes. And so I think it's a really, really great addition to our science program. I saw Sue in here. I don't think she's in here anymore. But she came in and she asked me, hey, Mr. Vela, what do you think you need the most help in? Your first year science teacher, if there's anything I can do to help you, what would that be? And so the first thing that came to my mind with Sue was, if you were in the last session, she had all the books and everything. And I told Sue, I said, well, I'm just not used to the kindergartners. And so, I take those kindergartners out, and sometimes when I see the administrator, I'm just kind of like this, because they're running around a little bit. But no, she came in and she helped me out, and she gave me some pointers on teaching kindergartners. And I've had those kindergartners out with the garden that Ms. Bruno and I are in charge with. I've had them out the last 2 weeks. And they really enjoy it too. They go out, and Ms. Bruno, she gave me, at the beginning of the year, she gave me some seeds. She gave me some spinach and some peas. And we went out, and you'll see that garden, and those plants just did really, really well. And so the kindergartners, they've been harvesting those things, and they've been really enthusiastic about everything that's going on there. So question and answer session. Whatever questions, I'll do my best to answer your questions. As far as the time that I spend on this, it's really not a whole lot at all. The students really do, I would say, 99% of the work, and they're enthusiastic to do it. I don't have to remind them. They ask me if they can help. And so yeah, it's really a student-led type of thing. I assist and help them. Initially, I tell them as far as the nutrients that are involved. I got the information as far as the parts per million. We're running about, I would say right now, about 600 to 700 parts per million, and our pH is around 6 to 7. And so I just have the students, they check on that also, and make sure that everything is the way it needs to be. The other thing that we remind students is some of the environmental factors that are helpful when using systems such as a hydroponics. So one of the examples I like to use is I ask the students, all right, so if you're eating carrots or spinach or whatever you're eating for dinner, how long do those items take to get to you? So when they get picked, when they get transported, when they go through all the processes that they need to end up in the grocery store and then get purchased, as opposed to having something like this, particularly in urban centers where perhaps produce is a little bit more scarce. I think these are great systems to perhaps to address some of those issues in urban areas. Yes? So the water usage is drastically lower than planting outside. Energy overall is a fraction of what it costs to have any of this produce out in a traditional type of garden. So particularly the water is a lot less.
I will tell you, when we got this unit, can you guys hear me? Do I need the microphone? I don't know. When we got this unit a couple of years ago, we didn't have a science class. And so we actually had it in one of our parent centers, and the parents were maintaining it. But then I'd have my counseling lessons. I'm a counselor at JT McWilliams. I'd have the kids come in, and I ended up doing more of a hydroponics garden lesson than my own counseling lesson because they were so interested. So it's just really taken off being part of science now. And Mr. Vela is excellent in maintaining it, having the kids maintain it, and now it's truly being used for what it's for. And it's just one of our 5 gardens that we actually have at JT. So I've been at JT for 14 years, and when we first started one garden, we had next to a mulberry tree, which we learned the mulberry roots like to take over. And so now it's an official Monarch waste station. So it's the coolest thing. Let me see if I can start. Yeah, this is our first garden that we started, and now it's an official Monarch waste station. I'll tell you, as a counselor, this has changed like the whole climate of our entire school, with attendance, with engagement, with academics, with STEM. Our parents are involved. We've gotten partners. Like, it really has just taken off for our school, and it's so nice to see that you have this beautification that really engages the whole school community. So we had a contest. They got to vote for the name of the garden, and this is our first one, Blooming with Kindness Garden. We're a Be Kind Josh Stevens school, so that tied in with, all of kindness. It became kind of a memorial garden. One of our teachers that had taught her whole entire 30 years had retired and had just since passed, so we had a little bench for her memory. But it's just changed like our whole climate. This is actually a garden in our PreK area, which I'll be honest was a little courtyard with dead grass and gray walls. It was awful. So what happened, this was actually inspired by a church group. They came out and they did the mural, and we said we want to eventually get a garden there. And so it inspired the design of the garden. And so what happened, they did the 4 seasons. And right here you'll see they did a music wall. We've actually took the grass that we took out from the garden and implanted it on the other side, and now that grass is growing. So it's like, just, I can't tell you, when you start something like a garden, it just takes off and starts running itself, and you start getting so many partners and so many people involved, and it really improves our attendance. If the kids know they're not going, that they have a garden lesson with Rosalie, or they have a garden lesson, they're going out with their class, they're not absent. They're there. And that's what, I mean, it's just, it ties in with all of our school projects. So we have Rosalie with our garden class, our 4th grade class. She'll do a lesson once a week, and the kids are there, and she has them planting in our garden. This year was crazy. We had so much lettuce and so much, we just started a new bed in October, which was a parent project that actually we're in charge of. It's truly belongs to our school, and we're tying in STEM. So it brings in the parent engagement, it brings in, the kids are out there every day helping maintain it. And when this is our courtyard, and this is our new bed that we had our parent group along with communities and schools with this project. And when when people walk into our school, this is the first thing they see is our courtyard. And it's just been amazing because they actually see, the front of the school, and they come in and they see this courtyard, and it actually has inspired new partners. The rescue mission put together benches and a learning board and truly made it into an outdoor classroom. So it really warmed my heart this year when we had, I don't know if it's coming up, the kindergartners planting some new seeds in our new bed. Yeah, we've got furniture out there, you're having a bad day, you go and sit for a few minutes in an Adirondack chair and enjoy the garden, and it's great for the whole school community. But you can see the outdoor board that they built and the benches. It became an Earth Day project where we took out all the grass and put in new gardens. And so now when people walk in, they stop and they just look at it, and that's actually inspired more partners to help. Because when they see that, they want to give back to our community because they see that we're doing, it's beautiful. This is funny, our snow day. Rosalie even told me, she was like, we could go in, we could have the lesson in the classroom, and this fifth grade class was like, we're going outside. And they're actually, you see the one kiddo taking a bite of the snow. I mean, you could see it was kind of flooded, but it was a great teachable moment that day. Even though our attendance was low across the whole district, these kids were really engaged and they loved being out in the garden. They did not want to miss it. So I just had to put come rain, come snow or shine. Reading week, we couldn't find an empty bench. They were buddy reading with other kids in the garden the whole day, the whole week. So truly just having a partner, building the benches, having the gardens, it's now inspired our whole community. They're fighting for garden time now, which is great because I put a schedule together, but if a class isn't using their time, they're like, can I take your time? So it's really changed our whole school community. It's inspired murals. One of our parents actually I saw her helping in a classroom, and she didn't think she could do this, but she actually took, and I don't have that slide up here, but she actually took the whole year and designed peace symbol flowers, and we have this beautiful mural next to this garden. You can see part of it. And it's inspired murals, it's inspired partnerships, and a lot of partners come in, they want to give back. So even if it's just, donating a little time in the garden or anything towards the garden, it's really just changed our whole dynamics of our school. This year we did our yearbook theme, Blooming with Kindness. So then it became a whole theme for our whole garden. Our whole yearbook. And so we have our principal, our art teacher, and our yearbook winners that actually are on the cover of the yearbook with their artwork. And it's all about blooming with kindness. And that will go, it comes back around. We have the first garden that actually, we had the mayor out there. It was a ribbon cutting. Green Our Planet came out. They were just getting started. It's just been I'm not going to cry, but it's been inspiring to see just the growth in our community and the things that have been accomplished just by getting a garden started. And so now, I was over spring break, it was that Friday, no one's there, but the custodian sent me a video, and I didn't get to put it up here, but we actually had monarch butterflies come and visit our pollinator garden for the first time, and I was crying because I'm like, the kids aren't here, they're missing it. And they only visit a very short time. So the kids have been every day out there looking, waiting for them to come back. But the custodians got to enjoy it that Friday. I'm like, okay, that's not fair. But he sent me a video, and it was great to see them actually come out. And like they were saying with pollinator, with the flowers, you see I think it was the purple, it was like a lavender rosemary that actually drew in the milkweed draws them in. So we've got all this milkweed. My principal one day was like, what are we doing with this garden? There's just a bunch of weeds. What's happening? I said, we're actually an official monarch way station, and the flowers are finally blooming. They're attracting they'll bring the monarch butterflies in. So So it was great when I showed her the video. She's like, "You're still working on spring break?" I said, "No, the custodian sent me this video and I had to share it with you because we missed it." But it's okay, they'll come back next year. So it really has just changed our whole dynamic of our school. We actually have an oak tree. The year that our first garden was built, one of our students didn't make it, he died of cancer. And so we actually planted an oak tree in his memory, and we actually just transplanted it to the other side because we're getting a new, the 2-story building. And so we're like, save the tree, we've got to move that tree. There's, it's going to be a parking lot, we have to move that tree. So it's just become like a whole school community. It's changed the climate. So I get this is my passion here with truly beautification of our school. And it brings up attendance, it brings the community engagement. Our parents want to do murals. We've got partners wanting to help and build more benches. And all it was just starting with one bed. So, and with Taylor Hydroponics like that, and we have, when you look, we have 5 gardens. So it's pretty awesome. And they're not touching them with the new build. I made sure, the principal was like, those are protected. Everything's gonna be protected, and the new building will be in the field, so they're gonna take down some mulberry trees, which is also good for the environment, right? This is all tying into school, community, and that engagement piece. And now with STEM and all the things happening, it's just nice to see when we have the kids doing the work. They're out there, they want to be out there. And the teachers are now wanting, to be out during their time. Makes all the difference.